Much as you want to save animals, I'm pretty sure you're not going to do it by buying cosmetics. Pretty sure you can't walk into the body shop and buy some burdock root peppermint oil foot scrub, and some little badger somewhere in Scotland is going to go, wow, I feel a whole lot better about my life right now. Somebody's buying that burdock root peppermint oil foot scrub. I don't see the point in testing cosmetics on rabbits anyway, because they're already cute. Slather some lip gloss and eyeliner all over them. Now they're all gussied up like some $3 whore. There's no dignity in that for a rabbit whatsoever. You want to test out cosmetics? Test them out on big game, because they stink. Get up under a hippopotamus there and get some roll-on deodorant under his armpit. See how fresh and self-assured he stays all day, huh? Little lip gloss on a beaver. Real beaver. Stay with me, fella. Real beaver. Right? Damn doting, log-eating beaver. If he's charged through 60 logs and he's still wearing that lip gloss, that's some damn good lip gloss right there, ladies and gentlemen. You know this whole thing about, you ever meet someone famous and you tell your friends, and then they say, well, what was he like? Because all they really want to hear is that he was a prick. So they like to say Tom Cruise is the nicest guy in Hollywood. And I always think, well, if I was making $8 million a film, I'd be nice too. Jesus Christ. But I'm not sure he is that nice. Because I always read these articles about how he's so insular and he's into his Scientology and he, stays at a hotel, won't make eye contact with anyone in the hotel because he doesn't want to talk about the plots to his new films. Apparently, as if staring Tom Cruise in the face, he would just crack under pressure. What are you staring at? Hey, you want to hear about my new film? You ever seen a Tom Cruise film like he couldn't figure out the plot in about 18 seconds? Oh, Christ. He's a cocktail maker. He's a pretty good cocktail maker, too. Till he has a crisis of confidence and can't make cocktails anymore. And he meets a good-looking woman who talks him into being a better cocktail maker. A riveting piece of cinema that was. Then he's a race car driver. Pretty good race car driver, too. Till he has a crisis of confidence. Can't race cars anymore. Then he meets a good-looking woman who talks him into being a better race car driver. Then he's a jet pilot. Some of you are starting to see a pattern emerge here. Pretty good jet pilot? Yes, he was. Until he had a crisis of confidence, couldn't fly jets anymore. Then I believe he met a good-looking woman who talked him into being a better jet pilot. Then he was a sports agent. Then he was the brother of a retarded guy. He was a pretty good brother of a retarded guy until he had a crisis of confidence and wasn't so sure he was such a good brother of a retarded guy. And then he met a good-looking woman who talked him into being a better brother of a retarded guy. Then he was some kind of, I don't know what he's in now, War of the Worlds. Maybe he fights the world. You know what? I bet he's a pretty good world fighter. But at some point he'll probably have a crisis of confidence. You're going to meet a good-looking woman who convinces him it's okay to fight the world. Could be a Scrabble player for all I care. He's a pretty good Scrabble player. Till he draws all vowels. Has a crisis of consonants. And he meets a lovely Welsh woman who teaches him a lot of words he's never heard before.
I was such a fat kid. My mother used to buy bathing suits with blowholes in them. It was just... But my parents... I don't want to go into my childhood here because it's wrong. My parents hated me, okay? We're all going to hear the story, aren't we? My parents hated me too. My parents... All I ever heard growing up is, why can't you be like your cousin Sheila? Why can't you be like your cousin Sheila? Sheila had died at birth. They just... Whenever we go, like, in front of a street, each parent would take my hand, hold our hand, we're crossing the street, and then they'd swing me into the traffic. They used to say, take candy from strangers. Ask the funny man in the raincoat, does he own a van? No, I had a very bad childhood, and that's because, and I'm sure none of you give a damn, but I was the only Jewish kid, this is the absolute truth, growing up in an all-Catholic neighborhood. You know what that's? The Irish people. Only Jewish kid in a Catholic neighborhood. You know what that's like? You were all doing Hail Marys, I was doing Hail Murrays. I mean, it was just... No Christmas tree? No Christmas tree. Do you know what that's like when you're the only kid without a Christmas? Because everybody has Christmas trees. And nowadays, it's like, well, we do it for all faiths. That's such bullshit. Yeah, we walk into an office building, and there's a Christmas tree, and there's a menorah. Bullshit. The Christmas tree goes up, 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 up. There's like a little shitty menorah with 2 orange lights that some angry Puerto Ricans lit backwards. I mean, yes. Juan, you lit those lights backwards. Fuck you, you killed our Lord. I mean, it is just... So, I'm at the age where I figure, screw it, I'm gonna have a Christmas tree. I got the biggest Christmas tree I got a 2-story high Christmas tree. I put everything you could think of on that. Up, 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 gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. On the bottom, I got the manger. I got the whole goddamn thing going there. The wise men, the sheep. And the only thing is, I had the baby, but I'm Jewish. I got him a nanny. It was just, oh yes. And I redressed Mary. She didn't look good. That stupid thing over her head, come on. I put her in a Chanel suit, Manolo Blahniks, and a Louis Vuitton pocketbook. You're the mother of God. Look it. It is just... Am I wrong? If she had looked like that, she would have gotten into the inn. Yes. The point is, it's about looks. Mary, she looked good. She would have done better. Mother Teresa... Oh, don't give me, oh, Mother Teresa, if she had looked better, she'd be a saint by now. Was she a bow wow? Yes. Did she need electrolysis? Let's talk to each other here. Even lepers were throwing their fingers at her. Here, get away. Because it is all about looks. This is my message, Great Britain. This is my message. Looks count. Education, looks count. I have no sex appeal, and it has screwed me up for life. Peeping Toms look in my window, pull down the shade. You have no idea. My gynecologist examines me by telephone.
We're here to talk about relationships. Let's crack straight on with the first slide. Making... Don't laugh at that. That's not meant to be funny, please. Let's not have another Folkestone on our hands, please. Making divorce work. Now, given that it is a rocky ride, an emotional roller coaster, I start off with a joke, ladies and gentlemen, just to loosen us up. Here it is. If you're going to get divorced, you have to be like the man in the toll booth. Why is that, Keith? Well, you have to be willing to accept, this is the joke, change. It's a zinger. When you divorce, there is sweeping change. Changes right across your life in every area. One of the first things to change is the locks. You may please don't laugh at that, please. You may come home one day and find that your key no longer fits your wife's lock. Another man's key is fitting your wife's lock. And stop it. Stop, I'm stamping on that. Riaz, with a Z, please. Stop it. It's not that sort of a show. Well, I mean, it's not a show, is it? It's a talk. But it's not smutty. So you may come home and find that your key no longer fits the lock. Good. Yes, it can. And it can be very difficult to tell why a relationship is going to go wrong. Why is that? Well, I think it's because at the beginning of any relationship, when two people get together, there's always a sense of what? Hammersmith, at the beginning of a relationship, a sense of... Pardon? Worry. No. Anyone else? At the beginning of a relationship, a sense of... Foreboding. Foreboding is the wrong answer. Lust, no. Uncertainty. There's always a sense of uncertainty. A feeling of will they, won't they? And there's no way of... Please, Hammersmith, take it seriously. We're talking about emotions. A sense of will they, won't they? And there's no... Hammersmith, I will walk off the stage, please. There's no way of predicting when a couple get together whether or not the relationship will work. Will it last a long time? No. Not a chance in hell. Will they stick together? No, no. Will the marriage endure? Yes. Yes. Lee and Leslie. Now, Lee and Leslie are a lesson to us all. They've made a marriage work. So why is it then that when they can make a marriage work, so many others can't? Paul Simon said, there are 50 ways to leave your lover. 1. Hammersmith, time out. Please start to take it seriously. 1. Slip out the back, Jack. 2. Make a new plan, Stan. And 48 others.
Now, one question that I get asked all the time, so don't text me with this, is if you could take a pill that would make you thin, would you take it? Of course I bleeding well would. I would like to take a pill that made me 6 stone. Then I could eat my way back up to 10. What a bloody brilliant weekend that'd be, wouldn't it? You see, I think there's 2 types of people in the world, right? And it's all to do with how they eat biscuits, right? Because the first type of person makes a cup of tea, gets a plate out, opens the packet of biscuits, takes 1 biscuit out, puts it on the plate, and eats it very daintily off the plate. Folds the packet back up, bit of sellotape over the top to keep it fresh for next month. Now, those sort of people should be executed, shouldn't they? Because the rest of us get a packet out, eat the whole fucking lot without taking the cover off, do we, really? And consequently end up looking like me. Because I've always had a weight problem. You know, when I was a teenager, I remember going to see the careers mistress, and she said, what do you want to do? I said, well, I'd like to be a nurse or get married. She went, better be a nurse then. When I was actually a teenager, I wasn't frightened of teenage boys, but I'm terrified of them now. They're a scary bunch, aren't they? And, you know, I actually have teenage nephews, and one of them always has a sign on his door saying, keep out, like you're going in there without a flamethrower. Lend me my crampons, dear. I'm just popping in to tackle Tissue Mountain. And, of course, the worst thing I think you can do with teenagers is try and kind of get down and speak their language. They hate that, don't they? Which is why I quite like doing it. And I actually found this out to my cost last year, right? Because I went around for months going to people, would you look at that minger over there? That is a minger and a half, that is, isn't it? And I found out that this was actually wrong. To my cost, outside my local parks, there were 2 teenage boys. I went, lads, look at that minger. What a blinking minger that is. And they went, oh, for Christ's sake, it's Minger. And that's our mum. So, you know... Do we have many politically active people in tonight? 1. Well done, sir. No, because I've been a Labour Party supporter all my life, and in fact, at the last election, I was asked by Tony Blair to go and speak at a rally in Hove. Oh, joy. And, but, you know, it just made me think, standing in the front row with all these dignitaries, these Labour Party dignitaries, I've come a long way since fags behind the bike sheds. Because I had Blunkett there, I had Cherie Blair there, Tony Blair came along the row, shaking everyone's hand, got to me and said, thanks for doing this, Joe. Kiss me. On the lips, trying to get his tongue in. Got up to do my speech, Blunkett had undone my bra. Because they're mad for it. They are. I was shocked, you know, because I was brought up in a little country village. The only thing we had to do at the weekend was bell ringing. Now, I don't know if anyone's tried that, but it's much harder than it looks, which I believe is something John Prescott says to a lot of women that he meets. But,
I can't wait to get old. I'm looking forward to getting old. Old people can do what they like. You see any old person, they do what they like. I was on the bus the other day, this incredibly old woman got on, she went straight up to this guy who was sitting down and said, "How old are you?" This guy was like, 37. She said, "I'm 84, get up." I was like, oh my God, she just invented human top trumps. This guy missed a trick, he should have demanded another round, be like, "All right, old lady, what's your top speed?" No chance. I think the worst thing about having a baby, without a doubt, the worst thing about the whole pregnancy, I'd say even more painful than labour, was telling my parents that I was pregnant. Because my parents never talked to me about sex. They just never did that. I mean, to be fair on them, I think they operated on a need-to-know basis, and given I had a head brace till I was 17, they thought, do you know what? She doesn't need to know. But the only time my mum ever talked to me about sex, she once sort of in passing said, "Oh, by the way, when you make love to a man, put a towel down first." That's it. Both practical and disturbing. Put a towel down first. That's what she'd say. Put a towel down first. I thought, it's given me a pathological fear of sun loungers ever since. And my parents' towel collection. But I swear, I knew nothing about sex as a teenager. I think the closest I came to having sex at that time was when I was doing lengths in a local pool and a man accidentally butterflied over me. I mean, I lost my virginity so late in the end that when it finally happened, I wasn't so much deflowered as dead-headed. But I wish I was sexually confident, like in my 20s. Love to be like that. Love to be a player. You know what I'm talking about? We all know people like this, people who are going to go like, I'm going to go out tonight and I'm going to get laid. I would love to be like that. I'd love to be the sort of person who could just walk into any nightclub with my towel. Like Gold Duke of Edinburgh award-winning piece of ass right here. Strippers. It's another person. Weirdly, I kind of admire strippers. I would love to be like a stripper. I would love to just be able to stand on stage and own it. Like, know I was sexy. That would be awesome, you know? I would be the world's worst lap dancer. I could not sit on a man's knee and not want to make giddy-up noises. And strip joints, they're designed to be alluring. I challenge anyone in this room, even if you agree with them or not, to walk past a strip joint and a bit of you is not like, oh my God, what's happening? Because they've got like the blacked out windows and the bouncers on the door. There's always a bit of you that's like, oh my God, what are they doing in there? And it's exactly the same feeling as when I was a kid and I used to walk past the school staff room. You walk past, you'd be like, oh man, what is happening in there? I mean, it turns out both are full of adults whose lives didn't work out as planned. The thing I find the weirdest about strip joints, if you've ever been to one, everywhere you go, all these big signs, do not touch the women! Please do not touch the ladies! The strippers always say, the fact that the men can't touch us, that's what makes our job really empowering. And I always think, well, that's not really empowering, is it? Because that's the same rule in every other workplace in the country. You know, walk in a shop and it says, welcome to Tesco's, don't finger the staff.
It's lovely to be here. I've come all the way from Brighton. Just in case you're wondering what this haircut is about. Might be a new face for some of you people. Don't panic, the BBC invited me here because they needed a beige lesbian. So I'm just here to tick some boxes. Not your box, madam, just a metaphorical box. I'm half Spanish, that's what's happening there. I've got a Spanish mum, and she lives here in the UK. It's all very legal. She's lived longer in the UK than she's ever lived in Spain, but the brilliant thing about my mum is that she's never lost her accent. She's done very, very good. She's lost the words she cannot pronounce. Lost and lost the words she cannot pronounce, huh? My favourite word that my mum's never been able to pronounce is my brother's name. It's not even a difficult name, his name's Stephen. I don't know if you've noticed this, Spanish people, any word that begins with the letter S, they struggle, right? So my mum doesn't call him Stephen, she calls him Steven. What's his name, Mum? Steven. Is it? Isn't it just Stephen? Jennifer, I know his name is my son. It is Steven! You don't want to mess with my mum. She's not like British people here in this country. We can be quite passive-aggressive, can't we? She's just very aggressive woman. I don't know how my mum's never really coped in this country, and I think it's because, like a lot of Mediterranean people, she's quite loud, yeah? She's got one volume, it's like this. Hello! How are you? Whereas in this country, particularly if we're middle class, we tend to be low talkers, don't we? We don't like to raise our voices, do we? Why? Because we've got money. And we just assume that if you are raising your voice, well, you're probably poor. Or worse, foreign. Great thing about having a Mediterranean mum is they feed you. Oh, my God. She's always feeding. That's her way of showing that she loves her children, is to feed us. You know, I can remember going around friends' houses, you know, like English mums. Go around an English mum's house and the conversation with mum's more like this. I think you've had enough. My mum will feed you till you puke. Anything can be going on in my life and my mum will relate it back to a meal that she's cooked. Do you know what I mean? Like, so good or bad, particularly if I'm depressed. If I phone up my mum and I've had a terrible day, yeah? I phone up my mum, conversation always goes like this. Oh, Jennifer, my God, I'm so sorry to hear that you're having a hard time right now. But you know what? Don't worry, okay? I made a soup. Come home. You sound hungry. I made a chicken carne, made a lamb tagine, made a casserole, Jennifer. I made some tortillas, some paella, some curry, Jennifer. You love curry, maybe some meatballs, some pork ball, beef ball, aniseed ball, banana ball. You're a lesbian. You don't eat enough balls. Please, come home. Eat my balls.
You know, when I found out that I was going to do this gig, I immediately put together a message and I pinged it out on our family WhatsApp group to my husband and my children. Because that is the kind of rock and roll comic I am. And my son, my teenage son, wrote back to me at once, and his message said, "Thug life chose you, brah." And I was like, oh shit, my child has joined a gang. I mean, what kind of language is this? Thug and brah, it had 2 R's, but he's a terrible speller. And I was like, oh no. And the other thing is I thought, this message is not for me. This idiot has sent me a message by mistake, which is for a gang member. What if the next message is something much worse? And that really bothered me because, well, this was my moment. I am going to Apollo. Like, if I'm going to find out you're a criminal, can we do it next month? So I wrote back to him in all caps, because as a good Indian mother, I mainly shout at my children. I wrote back, "This is your mom." And he wrote back, "I know, gigging like a boss." Thank you. A boss. Yeah, B-A-W-S-E, boss. And also, please do remember as you listen to the rest of my set this evening that I didn't choose it, but the thug life chose me. That's right. So I have kids. Of course you love your kids and it's difficult to raise them. Small kids are very easy, I find. The biggest downside of having a very small child is they are very boring. Yeah, they want to show you they love you by talking to you all the time, but everything they know, you already know. literally zero value add in any of those conversations. But you do it anyway because they're your kids, you know? And you know what people say? Small kids, small problems, big kids, bigger problems. And the reason is that as your kids get older, you have to discipline them properly. And I find this very stressful because I'm born and raised in India. So what I consider robust, healthy, high-quality parental discipline is frowned upon in this part of the world. That's not true. It's illegal. I know because I have checked. And I want to have really well-behaved kids, but that is no use to me if I am in jail. So I have to learn what you guys do here. And the big thing here is teach your kids about action and consequence using a multitude of techniques. So you have something called star chart. You know what star chart is? Yeah, no, let me tell you, sir. Star chart is you find something vaguely not negative that your child possibly might be able to do and then work it into the conversation and give them a star. Thank you for not kicking me in the face today. Here's a star. And then the other one, action and consequence, naughty step. You've been terribly behaved. Kindly go relax on the staircase.
When we first moved to our area, it was a bit shit, right? But it's got nice. It's got a little bit nicer. It's very slightly gentrified. So now everyone that owns their property, they go on Rightmove every day for a little wank. Ooh, let's have a little look at what our house is worth. Let's think of somewhere cheaper and put it in and see what we can get for it. Put it in somewhere shit, somewhere, I don't know, somewhere up north. Put that in. And then you're like, fucking hell, we could own Hull. It's disgusting. It's very vulgar. So, I've never lived anywhere nice before. It's been quite interesting watching it sort of change a little bit. Like, first off, there's little signs that you notice when a change is on the horizon. Like, first off, it's the availability of sourdough. Change a-coming. And then it's the pub. It's always the pub. You've got to keep an eye on the pub. The pub changes. Like our old pub, it was a sort of working class pub. Old blokes in there, smoking roll-ups, buying and selling the odd gun, watching Sky Sports, right? But they've all had to go now. They've all been kicked out and the pub's been done up. It's all shabby chic. It's all been done a bit retro. And now, you know, there's like pictures on the wall, old Polaroid photographs of working class blokes smoking roll-ups, buying and selling guns, watching Sky Sports. And you can eat there. You can get food in the pub now. You can get a rustic frittata on a distressed camping plate. Or like pizza off a bin lid. It's great. Tapas off a plank. Because gentrified people like to eat food from bits of shit in a shed, bits of crap sticking around in a garage. I've had soup out of a bedpan. Nice. I like it. You have to get a tetanus after you've had a meal, but it's nice. And parenting at Christmas time, I worry about my parenting. I don't know if I'm that good at it. I get into rows. I row with my kids. You shouldn't row with kids, should you? It's really frowned at. I said to my friend, I row with my kids. And she said, what do you mean you row with them? You mean you, like, tell them off? I said, no, because that would suggest status, wouldn't it? That would imply I've got some power in our relationship. But I don't seem to have any power. We were in the supermarket recently, getting all the shopping in. I'm quite harassed. I've got other things I need to be doing. One of them's like, no, we don't like pasta shells. We only like pasta bows. I'm like, it's the same. It's the same thing. All of the pastas are the same. The pipes and the bows and the shells and the twists. What are you looking at? I said, you don't give a toss about shape when it's chocolate, do you? No, it's not good. No, because there's no glory in winning a row with a child. Like, if you win a row with your mate, you then tell your other mate, don't you? And then you're like, and then I said, right. And then I said, you don't give a shit about shape when it's chocolate, do ya? And I said it to her face. It's like, oh, well done with your 6-year-old kid. Well done, Kel. And my son loves to play Snap. He loves to play Dinosaur Snap. And he hates to lose, because kids do, don't they? Kids hate losing games. You won't meet a kid that loses a game that's like, no, it's fine, best of 5, let's just go again. So I have to let him win because I'm his mum and I love him in a sort of oppressive, cloying way. So I have to let him win. He'll lose at things later in life when I can't control that for him. But for this game of Snap, I can let him win, can't I? But it turns out that my reflexes aren't as sentimental as me. So a diplodocus goes down, and then another diplodocus, and before I quite know what's happening, I'm like, snap, snap, ha!
I was going to be a doctor, got as far as A-level biology, and we had to cut open a rat. Remember that? You had to cut open a rat, and I discovered I couldn't stand the sight of blood or anything vaguely biological. Just had to switch it up. I was like, Mum, I had to tell my mum the doctor thing wasn't going to work out, but it was all right. I said, I'm going to be an engineer. And my mum was like, engineer? It is on the list, okay. And then she turns to my younger brother, you will be the doctor. And that's how it ran in my family. She wasn't impressed when I decided to become a comedian. That conversation didn't go very well because I was an engineer. I worked as an engineer for years. I used to work for Otis, repairing lifts. That's what I did. And my mum was proud. Yes, my daughter, she's an engineer. And then I left that and decided to become a comedian. My mum was not impressed. She's like, comedy. Comedy? What the hell is comedy? I'm going to tell my friends in Nigeria, My daughter is a clown. But luckily for me, within 6 months of starting comedy, I got on this talent show called The Big, Big Talent Show, hosted by Jonathan Ross. Got on this show. So I called my mum. I was like, Mama, I got through to this big talent show. It's going to be on TV. I'm through the quarterfinals. And my mum was like, oh, yeah, that's good. Very good. Interesting. Very good. Call me when you get to the final. I'm not interested in this quarterfinal, semi-final rubbish. Call me for the final. So sure enough, I got through to the final, filmed live on television, live. Jonathan Ross is hosting, and my mum comes down with her entourage, because my mum does not travel without a Nigerian entourage. So I do my set. Jonathan Ross is interviewing me after my set, and he sees my mum in the audience, which was not hard to spot. It was literally white people, white people, white people, and then a bank of African royalty just... So Jonathan points to my mum and he goes, is that your mum? That Gina's mum is in the audience. And I swear to God, my mum stood up like this. Yes, that is right. I am the reason the clown is here. I am the reason. I always knew she was going to be a clown. When she was 3, I bought her the big shoes. So my mum only comes out for the big shows. She only comes out for the big shows. And in fact, my mum is here tonight. Where's my mum? Where's my mum? Where's my mum over there? She's here. Where's my mum? Oh, look at her, standing up. Look at her, there she is. All right, you can sit down now, mum. You can sit down now, mum. This is my show, mum. It's my show. It's my show.
I don't know, it's really nice being married. I like it. I feel like it's turned me into a woman, you know. I know it's turned me into a woman because I've started buying candles. Bitches love candles though, didn't they? Bitches love candles. They're so expensive though, the fancy ones, like the Joe Malone ones. I've worked out it's actually better value and you can get the same effect if you just set fire to a £20 note and sniff a fig roll. Not just candles I'm buying though, guys. I'm buying other little bits for the house. I call them trinkets. Australian husband calls them great. Another bit of tat with a shit quote on. It's not true, they're essentials. How else am I supposed to remember to dance like nobody is watching? Unless I have a piece of driftwood to remind me to. Essentials. But my sister says the reason I like all this stuff is because I'm nesting, and she thinks that's really good. She's like, you need to have a baby. You need to have a baby so you've got something to look after you when you're old. I'm like, hang on, isn't that what the NHS is for? Unless the NHS is that screwed that by the time I'm old, you literally have had to give birth to your own medical professional. Push, push. Oh, congratulations, it's an oncologist. Because I'm not sure about having kids right now, so it means I'm very aware of my contraception. So I've done all the research for you. So the pill, 99% effective. Condoms, 99% effective. Eating a large Indian takeaway. And then going, oh, look how pregnant I look. 100% effective. But my view on kids actually helped me become a little bit of an internet sensation earlier this year. There was this thing on Facebook, I don't know if you saw it. It was called the Motherhood Challenge. So it's where mums were putting up 5 photos of themselves that made them proud to be a mother. So there were pictures of, like, little Ken on the beach, little Ken trying avocado for the first time, little Ken asking, what kind of a name is Ken for a toddler? Lovely, lovely. Now, I do not have a problem with anyone being proud to be a parent. I just saw a lot of this stuff, thought I'm going to do the opposite. I did the non-motherhood challenge. I posted 5 photos of myself that made me proud not to be a mother. 4 of those were pictures of me asleep. And the 5th one was of me asleep, holding a bottle of wine. Really, really silly, right? Whacked it up on Facebook, didn't really think any more about it. For some reason, it went bananas, right? It went viral, got shared a gazillion times, went all the way around the world. At one point, I became Woman of the Week on a Swahili parenting blog. And it was really interesting seeing the different responses. I got back to it. So the first lot of people to write on my Facebook page were women like me without children, saying things like, oh, Ellie, thanks for giving us, the childless, a voice. I was like, no worries, babes, you're welcome.
But I have developed a new hobby. Some of you probably already do this. I've started listening into people's conversations on the bus and the train. It's quite entertaining. And I was listening not long ago to 2 old ladies, and they were talking about what they would do if they were men for a day. And I thought, this is going to be brilliant, because pensioners are, by definition, bonkers. But I went out to lunch with a couple of my friends, and I thought, well, I'll ask them the same question. So my first friend, I said, what would you do if you were a man for a day? And without even thinking, she just went, I'd have a wank. Sounded like she needed to. She sounded awfully tense. But these old ladies, different generation to me and my friends, in their 80s, and one of them just said, Edith, what would you do if you're a man for a day? The other one said, no, in my luck, I'd get a Tuesday. And what can you do on a Tuesday? My second friend, I said, what would you do if you're a man for a day? She just said, I just do everything. And I thought she meant like in a sexual way. And I said, is that what you mean? Like you just do everything? And I said, is that what you mean? She went, no, just all the little jobs round the house. But I've been trying to go on a diet. I'm not really very successful. But I find that whenever I go shopping and I can't get into things, you know, when you try clothes on and you're the size you weren't expecting to be, I just come home and I put on a song, and the song is Big Girls Don't Cry. You know the song? There's a couple of versions of it. Big girls don't cry. Such a load of rubbish, that, isn't it? Big girls don't cry. Yeah, they do. Cry because they're fat, cry because they can't get a boyfriend, and they cry because there's no trifle left. But I was on holiday in Spain last year, and I'm bragging, I know, and outside the hotel was a lovely pool, and I wanted to go in the pool, of course I did, but I'm not overly confident with my figure in a swimming costume, and I was watching the women who were walking in the pool, and these were like tiny, you know, these wafer-thin, tiny women. And I thought, I'm not going to walk in with one of them. If I walk in with one of them, people are going to think I've bloody eaten one. And I wouldn't anyway, because there's no meat on them. So what I decided to do instead is just to walk in with the children, because kids are all really fat these days. If I walk in the same time as a 9-year-old boy who's got bigger tits than me, nobody's looking at me anymore. But like I say, I don't have kids, and most of my friends don't have kids, but I think if you ask any woman who doesn't have kids what would worry them about having kids would always be childbirth. it's quite a reasonable thing to worry about childbirth. From what I understand, it changes your downstairs, doesn't it? It changes your downstairs. I quite like my downstairs the way it is, thanks very much. Certainly don't want a bloody extension. But it's bound to change though, isn't it? Because you're forcing a person out. That's what you're doing. You're forcing a person out. I've never forced a person out. I forced a couple in. With a shoehorn.
There's other younger people in the room, right? You know what I mean. You have only ever known a time in your life when you're trying not to get pregnant or trying not to get somebody else pregnant. And I don't want to blow my own trumpet, but on both accounts, I fucking smashed it. I think it comes down to skill set at the end of the day, doesn't it? People are just good at different things. Some people are good at the violin. Some people are good at parallel parking. I was very good at taking the pill. Every day, every day, every day. Honestly, I used to think I was so good at taking the pill, I deserved a reward. Arguably, there was a reward. It was the reward of not having to watch Peppa Pig or cleaning up another human's shit. Tell you what I don't understand, right, is women who are on the pill and forget to take it. Don't get that. Because don't get me wrong, I forget things. I forget my keys, my wallet, the fact I'm married. Sure! But forgetting to take something that can prevent you from creating a human that could one day say, turn the machines off, is what she would have wanted. I'm going to remember that one, thank you. Obviously does happen though. Women forget to take the pill, they get knocked up. Happened to a girl I used to work with actually, when I used to work in an office, right? And we were chatting about it one day. She was so blasé. We're in the kitchen. She's just standing there rubbing her belly like, well, the thing is, I've just got really bad memory. I was thinking, that's funny, because every day without fail, you remember to steal my milk. Maybe if you'd strapped your packet of microgynon to my semi-skimmed... Stephen in accounts wouldn't be telling everyone how you trapped him. I think the reason I was always very good at remembering to take the pill, because I've been on it for so long. I was on it since I was about 16. And the reason I started taking it was because I was going out with my first boyfriend, Kevin Sutherland. A boom, chicka, wow, wow. He was quite the catch. He had a Peugeot 106 and a tattoo of Bart Simpson, which I thought showed a great joie de vivre. And things were going very well between Kevin and I. We had matching bracelets from Argos, so you can tell how serious we were. And we'd agreed that we were going to do it for the first time, right? So I was like, right, I put myself on the pill because my first time is going to be really special. My first time is going to be just like in the movies. So the big day arrived, and Kevin, bless him, he made such an effort for everything to be really perfect. Like, he paid his little brother to leave the room. To this day, the most romantic thing a man has ever done for me. And he made a mix CD of all of our favourite romantic songs. You know, like Boom, 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 Let Me Hear You Say Wayo. And as we lay down on his single bed, with his Liverpool FC duvet cover on it, the scent of Lynx Africa heavy in the air. And as Kevin took my virginity so beautifully and gently and quickly from behind, I remember thinking, wow, just like in the movies. Obviously, it's quite difficult to make eye contact in that position, isn't it? Almost felt like I lost my virginity to Steven Gerrard. I'll never walk alone. I never will.
But, we've moved now. We've moved to a place called Pinner. We only moved to Pinner because the estate agent said to us, he said, oh, Pinner is a lovely part of West London. Right? West London. We get Welsh telly. It's not London. It's not London, but it is very nice. One of the things I like about where we live is it's very multicultural. I think that's one of the brilliant things about London. I think multiculturalism is something we really have to fight for. Like the school my kids go to, it was very easy to pick a school for my kids because obviously we just picked the one with the highest ceilings. But the school they go to, it's a really nice school and it's very diverse. Like we have a mum's night out once a month and all the mums from the school go and there are women there from every economic background, every race, every religion, and we have a fantastic time and the Muslim mums drive us home. Tell you what, it is nice. I had an incident the other day, though. I was walking down the street near where I live, and it was one of those sunny days, one of those days that remind some van drivers that women have breasts. You know, one of those. And I was walking down the street, and there was a van drove up and slowed down, and two guys leaned out of the van, and they were in classic kind of leching position. And I knew they weren't going to be looking at me because I am 44 years old. And in fact, my older friends, when I was turning 40, they said, oh, being over 40, it makes you invisible, right? And I have found, yes, that is true, but the brilliant thing is it mostly makes you invisible to dickheads. So it's not really a problem, it's a superpower, if anything. So I'm walking down the street, these two guys are leaning out of this van, and I see they're leching, but they're looking past me at a younger woman, a woman in her 20s, who is walking alongside me. And these guys do the classic thing. They lean out of the van and they gave this woman a very detailed appraisal of her anatomy. You know, they covered all the main areas in bullet-pointed form, very thorough. And then they went on to suggest what I can only describe as a smorgasbord of activities they felt they would enjoy indulging in with her were they not under pressure of time to get to the next plumbing job. So they did all this and they drove off. And naturally, I turned to this woman and I said, oh my gosh, are you okay? That was horrific. And she said, no, I'm fine. It happens all the time. And I thought, yeah, it does when you're in your 20s, doesn't it? And we were chatting about how silly it was as we walked down the street. And then we got further down the road and the traffic had slowed down and this van had come to a stop. And I think a few years ago I would have just left it, said nothing. But this year I thought, you know what, if I'm going to be invisible, you know who else is invisible? Ninjas. I am going to be a bloody middle-aged ninja. I'm going to strike, right? So I went up to the van and I just leaned in and I said, oh, hi, guys. Listen, sorry to bother you. I just wanted to say thank you so much for what you did back there because my son here has been undergoing a very difficult gender reassignment. He's been worried that it's not going that well, but what you did back there really made him feel like a proper woman. Thank you. I was delighted with myself as well. But what was really special was that then the young woman next to me leaned in beside me and in the deepest voice I've ever heard, just went, yeah, thanks, guys. It was a beautiful moment. Obviously, it wasn't perfect. The only thing that could have made it perfect would have been if the guys in the van had said, actually, if your child is undergoing a gender reassignment, it's incredibly insensitive of you still to be referring to her using the male pronoun. But, they didn't do that. They just called us slags.
All of the parenting stresses me out. All of it. Like right from the beginning, when you're pregnant, you've got to think of a name for your kid. You're like, right, we're going to have to name it. That's tradition. Going to have to give it a name. And it's hard to think of a name for a kid because that's their name. That's going to be their name all their life if it pans out. And I'm an indecisive person. I struggle to think of passwords for websites, and you get help for that, don't you? Like, oh no, weak. And names go in and out of fashion, don't they? Some names, they can be in fashion, but they don't come back in. We all know those names. And I tell you a thing that's back in fashion now, and I find it fascinating, is virtue names, right? That is back in fashion. Those virtue names is a sort of Victorian notion that if you name your kid after a virtue, they might live up to that virtue. But that's risky business, isn't it? That's hubris. I wouldn't risk it. You could call your son Victor. He could end up a bit of a loser. Ernest, he could become a bullshitter. Grace is an ever-popular name. I wouldn't risk it. You could call your daughter Grace. She could end up a sort of galumphing oaf. Sacking her head on low beams. Falling into crockery at dinner parties. You'd be like, oh, come on, Grace. Do your laces up, babe. Stop farting. Prudence, she'll end up lip deep in debt, won't she? Chastity. Although my son is called Frank. Someone said to me, you've done it, innit? You've called your son Frank. That's a virtue. To be honest, to be above board, to be trustworthy. I was like, oh, shit, never thought of that. He'd end up an estate agent now, isn't he? He's funny, Frank. I think he's funny. I would say that, wouldn't I? Because I'm his mum. He's not funny. My child's funny. Tell a joke. Look at 774 pictures of my child. But I think he's funny, right? I went to pick him up from school the other day. I pick him up every day because they get proper arsey if you don't. They do. They ring you. They're like, where are you? I'm like, TK Maxx, where are you? Oh, all right then, yeah. So, yes, I went to pick him up from school and I was late, and I wasn't being very laid back that day. I was running a bit late, a bit stressed. I had my eldest with me. I had my mate's 2 kids that were coming back for tea. I thought we'd just get him and go. He's in reception. I was like, right, we'll just get off, yeah? But the teacher stopped me. She went, can you wait, actually? Can we have a quick chat? In that, you know, voice. So I had to arrange my face into one of those mum pretending to give a shit faces. I said, go on, what's he done? She said, do you want to tell Mummy what you did today, Frank, or shall I tell Mummy? He's got upset now. He's like, you tell Mummy. I'm like, what's he done? What? She said, look, today, Frank stuck a digit up the teaching assistant's bottom. That's not ideal, is it? It's very difficult to know what to do with your face. I was going through all the faces in my phone. She said, we've talked about bodies, haven't we, Frank? And areas of bodies that we respect. I thought now would be a really bad time to go, this is awful. I mean, this is a finger up the TA's... I mean, this is now they're teaching numeracy in primary education now. Sort of like, oh, if Frank's got one finger up the TA's arse, how many fingers are still on the outside?
I am what you call in show business a triple threat. I do comedy, and I do music, and I will cut you. Just joking, I probably won't. So it's so fantastic to be here today. I will be doing a little bit of music, so if you're a fan of NWA or Snoop Doggy Dogg, then I apologise. I'll be about 3 minutes. So this first song, this is about travelling on a train. Could you give me a cheer, Apollo, if you've ever been on a train before? About half. OK, great. Lovely. Well, the half of you who cheered, that means you are my target demographic. Congratulations. So I'm going to sing this song. This is about the worst thing any of us can ever encounter on a train journey. Just before I sing it, I have had some problems at previous gigs, actually, so I just want to make something crystal clear. If you listen carefully, I'm not even saying the word Hindu. Just listen harder. Hindu on a train. Hindu on a train. Cowboy hats and penis cakes. Neck tattoos and big L plates, and voices like a foghorn in a drain. Hindu on a train, groping every passing male. I suspect you've been to jail, and God willing, you might all go again. And although I have so many things to say to you, I'm aware that there are 6 of you, and all of you have had more fights than me. I've never glassed someone, but I do know how. Perhaps I'll glass you now. Hindu on a train. brought your own speakers too. Brilliant. To belt out Calvin Harris tunes, I mean, the maid of honor's clearly on cocaine. On a train, you see me staring and you threaten me. Then drunkenly you all set on me, and with a dick-shaped bottle take your aim. If you only knew, we're not so different, me and you. Just 3 months ago, my friend's hen do, we got drunk and we pretty much hijacked a plane. We were worse than you. We went down on all the crew. Mostly reluctant gay men, some women too. We got thrown out of Spain. You see, we're all the same, but you're not listening, you're bashing out my brain. Hen do on a train.
We need to bring back a sense of consequences for our actions. In this world, there are no more consequences for actions, yeah? And what I'm talking about, if there's no consequences in this life, what we need to do is bring back to Britain a simple sense of hell. The idea, if we screw up in this life, right, we will burn in sulphur for all eternity in the next life. Now, this is quite a tough sell, right? You don't like that idea, do you? Right, but hear me out, this is a good idea. We got any Christians present? I need your assistance. Any Christian people here this evening? Yeah, in the pink shirt. What's your name, son? Josh. Fantastic. You're a Christian? So you understand the idea of redemption, eternity, yeah? Resurrection, eternity in particular. And I do too. I understand the notion of eternity because I went to church on Sunday. Let me tell you this, that service went on forever. If it took me an hour to open a bottle of wine, I'd be drummed out of business. Now, the point is this. How long does it take to own a packet of crisps? Get on with it. Now, we need to bring back... So now, the problem with the idea of hell is no one's frightened of it. Now, I'm going to describe hell for you now, and none of you are going to bat an eyelid, right? And while your body's boiling mouldering in the grave, we'll take your soul and boil it in boiling oil for 1,000 millennium. Then after that, 2 sulphurous demons, emissaries of Satan himself, will come along, pull out your kidneys and set fire to them on the red-hot coals of hell itself. Then after this, another demon will come along, pull out your eyeballs, stick them on a red-hot poker, burn them on the hot coals of hell, and stick them up your arsehole, and they'll come out your own mouth with this shit on it. And this will go on forever. So you're not bothered by that, are you? In fact, most of you are laughing at it. Huh? In fact, most of us, being British, are thinking, well, come on then! Got yourself the devil! And that's the interesting thing about hell, isn't it? When you describe it, when someone describes hell, it tells you everything you need to know about that person, right? And what he's like and what his people are like. And I describe hell then in a normal British accent, which tells you that we, the British, are stoic, tough people who could take absolutely bloody anything. Right? And that's the interesting thing about hell. It tells you about the people telling you about it. Hell, in a French accent, for instance, sounds like a recipe. And while the body is lying down and the worms inside the flesh, we take out the soul and place it in very hot oil for a long time. Then, once it is tender, 2 demons come together at once, remove the kidneys and place them on the hot coals with a little white wine vinegar, some sea salt, and some rosemary, and cook them till they're brown on the outside but still pink in the middle. Then after this, we take the eyeballs, place them on the hot coals, cook them till they're crunchy on the outside, runny in the middle, on the hot poker, stick them up the arse, they come out the mouth with the shit on. It is delicious. Absolutely delicious. Okay, you see? Perverts! Perverts, basically, yeah? Hell. Hell in a Dutch accent sounds like a pretty good stag do, doesn't it? Hey, and while your body is lying down, we'll take you to the hottest place you can imagine. Imagine the hottest place you can go, yeah? Now go even hotter. And 2 demons will come together and rub oil all over your body. 2 demons together. two demons together at once, and then you would take out your kidneys. Oh, your hot kidneys. Your hot kidneys. And place the kidneys in a hot place and cook the kidneys till they're hard, until your kidneys are hard. And then take out your eyeballs and stick them in your bum hole. And this will cost you 45 euros. Hey, I mean, really? Sounds like an agreeable weekend.
But I think women should just let it out. It's a big day in a girl's life when she can freely let rip in front of her bloke. It is. I think women should be having I farted in front of my boyfriend for the first time parties. I do. I think they should be ringing up their mums, just going, Mum, I've got something to tell you. Oh, darling, what is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? I just did a fart in front of Tom. Oh, darling, that's wonderful news. And what did he say? He didn't say anything. He just laughed and farted back. My little girl's all grown up. Meanwhile, Dad will be in the background just going, women are farting far too early in front of their boyfriends these days. It was 18 months before your mother even trumped in my direction. 6 months before she'd take a dump in the house when I was around. Yes. And also, I'll tell you something else we pretend as well. We keep the lady garden quite tidy, us girls, don't we, in the early stages? We all do little tricks with it. Look, it's the strip, it's the Brazilian. Oh, look, I put a hat on it, it's the Mexican. Like we do. We do all that in the early stages, and then after about a year, it looks like the back of the wardrobe that leads to Narnia. Well, if he wants it, he's going to have to work for it. People say to me, Andy, you could try meeting people in a nightclub. You'll never meet anyone good in a nightclub because the nightclub environment is designed to have us make bad decisions. It is because it's dark, you can't see, you can't hear. You know what, if nightclubs want to be responsible, what they should do to help us out is just before the exit, they should have a brightly lit room where you can check out the person you're leaving with. Yes, they should. They should call it, have a sodding word with yourself lounge. And you would literally get women in there just going, oh my God, you're wearing a fleece. I couldn't tell because it's so dark in there. Okay, nice to meet you. But listen, if you meet somebody online, what I'm going to say is there's some safety things to take into consideration. Now, I met somebody through Twitter, just the once. I'll never do it again. And it was the most irresponsible thing I think I've ever done. And I spoke to a friend about it before we met up, and I said, listen, I've met this guy, and we seem to really like each other, and we're talking about meeting up. What do you reckon? Should I meet him? And before my mate even had a chance to say anything, I said, you know what? I am going to meet this guy. You know why? Because life's too short. And my mate just went, yeah, you're going to find out how short. And my mum says, she says, look, if you go on these dates, make sure you meet in a public place, okay? And I'm just going to add something to that. Public place, brill. Public house, excellent. Public toilet. Never meet in a public toilet. No good can come of it. Unless it's, you know them space-age toilets that they have outside? Where you put the money in, press the button, and then the door opens. You know why? Because you can pretend it's blind date. How cool is that? You just put the money in, press the button. And if you don't like it, just press the button really quickly. I don't know why, like young couples, new couples have got this obsession with finding out how many people someone's been out with from before. Like, how many previous partners? This is a lose-lose situation, right? And if any of you have ever had that conversation or you think it's ever going to come up, this is what I say. This is what you should say, okay? Just say to the person that's asked you, you want to know how many previous partners? Okay, I'll tell you from the beginning, all right? 1, 2, 3, 4, you, 6, 7...
I think we've got a problem. I think we're using the word Muslim far too quickly to describe people doing atrocities when they don't represent Muslims any more than I do. And I think we should be using a more accurate word for those people, which I'm going to argue is knobhead. It's a political rally now, don't worry. There'll be levels of knobhead. There'll be them at all. Happy to have them. I think they add to our city and to our culture. I think the big problem we have in Birmingham, it's happening around the country, actually. We have a lot of artisan coffee shops. You know the sort of places I'm on about.
People ask me, they say, Chris, what is it like trying to raise a child when you can't see the child? It's ups and downs, you know, ups and downs. You just got to go with the flow. Can't prepare yourself, you know. She's 3.5 now. When she was 2.5, if you haven't got kids, by the way, as soon as they get to 2, they're adorable. They just start asking questions. They want to know what everything is. You are their source of information. They want to absorb the world. My daughter, she's 2.5. She's in the bath. I'm knelt there. I'm bathing her. She's like, what's this, Daddy? What's this, Daddy? Oh, bloody no, do I? Give it here. Just... You might be 2.5, but you know way more than Daddy at this point, sweetheart. She goes, what's this, Daddy? Ice cream? I was like, ice cream? Big handful of shit, wasn't it? Massive. Not like a little pebble, not like a little arse sweetness. Where did that cut? An impressive quantity for an adult male. I wasn't entirely sure the dog hadn't jumped in and done it when my back was turned and she just scooped it out. She just slapped it in there in one go. It threw me. I didn't... Look, right, I obviously didn't see it coming. I didn't even... No. I didn't even smell it coming. This came from underwater. This was a stealth move, right? And I'm not entirely sure exactly what happened. You know, I've narrowed it down to 2 options, I think. I've given it some thought. I mean, she was 2.5. Let's give her the benefit of the doubt. She deserves the benefit of the doubt, doesn't she? Option 1, benefit of the doubt. This is what happened. She sat in the bath in the warm water. Yeah? She farts. She shits herself. She doesn't know she's done that. A few minutes later, that goes floating past her in the bath, doesn't it? She sees it there. She thinks to herself, I wonder what the bloody hell that is. That looks a little bit like ice cream. I know, she thinks. I'll ask Daddy about that. He knows about these things. He's a very, very clever man, yeah? That's option 1, isn't it? Benefit of the doubt. Option 2. She's a bloody comedy genius. She's sat there in the bath. She's got Mr. Penguin up here on the wall. She's got, hey, Mr. Penguin, Mr. Penguin. Get on this now. This is going to be brilliant. This is going to be amazing. Watch his face now. Watch his face. Watch. Keep looking. Keep looking. What am I going to do? Not only am I going to do a shit and put it in his hand, I bet you I can make him sniff it. Ice cream, Daddy? Ice cream, huh? We were very lucky with my daughter. So they say you got to watch your language around your kids, don't they? That's what they say. We were very lucky. My daughter's first words, apart from hand on heart, apart from mama, dada, baba, all that nonsense, her first words were go away. That's what she said. That's all she said for 3 months. Go away. Go away. She thought it was just one word. Go away. Go away. Why? Because that's what me and my wife said to the dog every time we were trying to feed my daughter. We'd get the food out, wouldn't we? The dog would get up, he'd go on the prowl, having a little look, wouldn't we? We'd be like, go away, go away, go away. She just picked it up. We'd push her in the pram out on the street. She'd be like, go away, go away, go away. Said to my wife, it's a good job we weren't telling that dog to fuck off, innit? Because we just wouldn't be able to take this kid out of the house.
You know toe rings? They are rings that we wear on our toes. Then we have rings, earrings, rings people wear in their ears, yeah? Eyebrow rings, nose rings, belly button rings. But these ones, rings. Because if these ones were called finger rings, make weddings pretty awkward. With this fingering, I... make proposal stories really awkward. Oh my God, so last night, John came over and out of nowhere just gave me the most incredible fingering. I know! I'm so happy. I mean, he asked my dad's permission first, obviously. And my dad was like, you go for it, son, you give her that fingering. And he came over, he looked down on one knee and he said, darling, I want to give you this fingering. It's the same fingering that my grandfather gave to my grandmother. Also make Lord of the Fingerings, very different film. Okay. There is no one hearing that. Just keep learning. Life's about learning, guys. I will share with you another big thing I learned this year. Very exciting. I learned showering with a partner is not sexy. That does not seem like a big deal, but the world tells you it is sexy. But you try that shit once, and you very quickly discover that showering with a partner is not sexy. Showering with a partner is taking turns being cold. Oh, yeah. A lot of do-si-do action, a lot of, let's move around this way. Oh, why? Because I'm goddamn freezing. I'm freezing. And a lot of kissing like this. But mainly, as I get older, I just keep finding out shit that I'm wrong about. Like, you grow up and you go, I know these things, I'm sure, and then wrong. The last time I was in your lovely country, I was on one of your lovely overland trains. You know, the ones that have the toilets with the electronic science fiction doors that go wage, wage. Now, I was sure I knew how to lock those. Nah, turns out I know how to shut them, yeah. And 12-year-old boys on the other side know how to push the open button. And I don't know if you've ever been sat on the toilet when the door opens, but look, it's everything you dream it will be. And a little bit more. Now, the thing with those doors is they take quite a long time to open. So I was desperately trying to find the close button, eventually found the close button, but the thing is, as they take quite a long time to open, similarly, take quite a long time to close. So I got to maintain eye contact with an understandably horrified 12-year-old boy as his face was being very slowly covered. It was kind of like this. And it finally shut. I sat back down and went, oh my God, I am never wearing a jumpsuit again. It's lovely to be here. I've come all the way from Brighton. Just in case you're wondering what this haircut is about. Might be a new face for some of you people. Don't panic. The BBC invited me here because they needed a beige lesbian. So I'm just here to tick some boxes. Not your box, madam. Just a metaphorical box. I'm half Spanish, that's what's happening there. I've got a Spanish mum, and she lives here in the UK. It's all very legal. She's lived longer in the UK than she's ever lived in Spain, but the brilliant thing about my mum is that she's never lost her accent. She talks very, very quickly. She lost the words she cannot pronounce. Lost the words she cannot pronounce, huh? My favourite word that my mum's never been able to pronounce is my brother's name. A difficult name, his name's Stephen. I don't know if you've noticed this, Spanish people, any word that begins with the letter S, they struggle, right? So my mum doesn't call him Stephen, she calls him Steven. What's his name, Mum? Steven. Is it? Isn't it just Stephen? Even if I know his name is my son, it is Steven! You don't want to mess with my mum. She's not like British people here in this country. We can be quite passive-aggressive, can't we? She's just a very aggressive woman. I don't know how my mum's never really coped in this country, and I think it's because, like a lot of Mediterranean people, she's quite loud, yeah? She's got one volume. It's like this. Whereas in this country, particularly if we're middle class, we tend to be low talkers, don't we? We don't like to raise our voices, do we? Why? just assume that if you are raising your voice, well, you're probably poor. Or worse, foreign. Great thing about having a Mediterranean mum is they feed you. Oh my God. She's always feeding. That's her way of showing that she loves her children, is to feed us. You know, I can remember going around friends' houses, you know, like English mums. Go around an English mum's house and the conversation with mum's more like this. I think you've had enough. My mum will feed you till you puke. Anything can be going on in my life and my mum will relate it back to a meal that she's cooked. Do you know what I mean? Like, so good or bad. Particularly if I'm depressed. If I phone up my mum and I've had a terrible day, yeah? I phone up my mum, conversation always goes like this. Oh, Jennifer, my God, I'm so sorry to hear that you're having a hard time right now. But you know what? Don't worry, okay? I made a soup. Come home. You sound hungry. I made a chicken curry, I made a lamb tagine, I made a casserole, Jennifer. I made some tortillas, some paellas, some curry, Jennifer. You love the curry. Maybe some meatballs, some pork ball, beef ball, aniseed ball, banana ball. You're a lesbian. You don't eat enough balls. Please, come home. Eat my balls.
Some people find very strange things entertaining. There are people out there, some people love scary movies. Ugh, I hate scary movies. They're too scary. They scare the shit out of me. Every time I see a scary movie, I'm scared for days. I hate them, but there are people who love them. There are people out there who actively seek them out, who actually enjoy the sensation of being scared by a movie. I've never understood that attitude at all. I've never been frightened in real life and gone, oh, Jesus. Yeah, I'll pay for that. Yeah, all right. That felt horrible. £13? Sure, yeah. Let's go now. Ridiculous. My friend's like this, right? My friend Jason loves scary movies. Jason can't get enough of scary movies. Absolutely loves scary movies, Jason. Now, Jason is black, which I only mention because you imagined him white, and he isn't. That's it. His race is not relevant to the joke. I just don't see why he should have the wrong picture. But Jason loves scary movies, and he's always trying to get me to go see him with him, go to the cinema and see scary movies with him. I'm like, Jason, I don't want to pay money to feel worse. That's an illogical exchange. That's a bad transaction, Jace. I don't want to do that. I was thinking about it. It's such a first world privilege. Don't you think? To enjoy scary movies. What a first world Western privilege. I mean, how comfortable is your life that you have to go out and buy a ticket just to know what it's like to feel under threat? You know, no one in the Democratic Republic of Congo saw The Grudge, you know? They don't need that shit. They got real life stuff to deal with. I guess it's a masochism, right, to enjoy a scary movie. A masochism, to derive a pleasure from a pain. And I understand masochism, I have to say I do, because I love spicy food. Love spicy food. It hurts me, I'm a little Asian god, but I love it. And if you think about it, spicy food is actually a lot like scary movies, you know? If it's good, you feel alive. If it's really good, you shit yourself. What else about me? I'm 26. I'm 20 goddamn 6. People often think I'm older, because although I am 26, I look terrible. I look gross and old, I guess. Mothers, lock up yourselves. Old Wang's on the prowl. He gonna get you. I'm a bit fat, I suppose. I don't look great. I'm a bit fat. I don't struggle with my weight. People my shape and size often say they struggle with their weight. They're always very sad. Oh, I struggle with my weight. Oh. I don't struggle with my weight. Struggle implies that I fought back at some point. I didn't. I helped. I was very much an accomplice to my weight. I was no barrier of entry to my weight. My weight knocked at the door and said, "Can I come in?" And I said, "Can I keep playing video games and touching myself?" And my weight said, "Yeah." "Oh, come in!" Take off your shoes, though. Chinese house. I've been trying to work on my look, though. I've been trying to look better. I'm trying to work on my look. I think it's important for all of us to have a distinct look that we like and to accomplish it as best we can. And so I have settled on the look of Cambodian dictator. It's a pretty strong look. It's been getting me a lot of respect recently. Mainly from Cambodian people. But then I got fun shoes at the end. Racist people think that I'm barefoot, but there you go.
This year, I did no lilt February. Thank you. I know, it sounds impossible, but you take it one day at a time. Did I have any today? No, you're a legend. It gets hard around the middle of the month, you get the cravings. It's called lilt guilt. You're like, oh, I bloody love the lilt. It's the night where you go to the shop at midnight, you kick the doors in, where's the lilt? And they're like, we don't stock it anymore. Like, ah! So you try and make your own hooch lilt, you know, you get a pineapple and a grapefruit, and you add in batteries and a horse's head, and you're like, it's good, but it's not totally tropical. Did that joke in America recently. Turns out they don't have lilt there. So, this is it. This is all I do. Imagine if this was your actual... I go like blah, 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 and you go, ah, ha, 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 money. Can't believe I get away with it. You do actual, proper London jobs. You know, like blacksmith, you know? Farrier. Brunch DJ. The big three. I tell you, I do not trust people who work in offices. I know, right? What are they doing? Nothing takes that long. They're planning something. They must be. Do you know? Do you ever call in to visit your friend in an office unexpectedly? Everyone just shits themselves. They're like, what's he doing here? Cover the screen, lie across the spreadsheet, get him out. Kind regards, warm regards, best. That's how they talk. Seen the email. Hey. I know what it's like in the real world. Look, sometimes I check in your world. Oh, gross, back to showbiz. And... No, I'm very self-aware of the level of fame that I have. I was in a supermarket recently, and an older lady came up to me, and she put her hands on my shoulders, and she said, you are vaguely familiar. And that is it. I did a gig in Wrexham, and I was at an ATM machine, and a guy cycled by, and he shouted at me, surprised to see you at an ATM machine. And I've been obsessed with it since then. What did he mean? Like, on the one hand, is he surprised I don't have a butler to go to the ATM machine for? No, I think it's the opposite. I think I'm surprised you have any money whatsoever doing keyboard horse shit. Here's my greatest ever showbiz tale. I did a gig in your Milton Keynes recently, thank you, and I was staying in the Milton Keynes Hilton, and she is the least well-known of all the Hilton sisters. And I checked in after the gig at like 12:30. Room 303 is where this took place. Open the door, TV on in the room. Not that uncommon in the chain hotels. I guess it's to welcome you. But get this, on the TV is me playing the shitty keyboard on some show. Immediate thought is like, is this a service they provide to all guests? If so, no, it's the realization, this is it. I've arrived. And I waltz into the room, down the little corridor with the loo away to the left. And as the room opens out, there is a fully naked man lying on the bed. So they've given me the key to someone else's room. But he is lying there, watching me on the TV. And he looks up. To think of something smart. What I say is like, oh shit, sorry about it. I could have said anything and I'd be a legend. I could have been like, oh, you enjoying this? Ah, no boner. And just walked out of it.
My daughter and I were really close. I took her out for some festive cocktails last week, and we went to one of those lovely fancy sky bars down on the south bank of the Thames. And as we were queuing to get in, they were doing very, very thorough bag checks on the door. My daughter's face just fell, and she said, Mum, They won't suspect you. Can you put my weed in your pocket? Oh, that's a bit's gone wrong here, hasn't it? Can you put my weed in your pocket, please? And where was I going to put my cocaine? But we got in, we had the most wonderful night, and we kept getting free cocktails. There was a very, very good-looking young waiter, wouldn't let us pay for a single thing. At the end of the night, that waiter came over, he bent down, he said to my daughter, he said, if you weren't here, I'd take your mum home with me. I couldn't believe how long it took to get an Uber for my daughter. It was... So I found this thing online that can best be described as a menopause magnet, right? I don't mean George Clooney. This is literally a magnetic device to help a woman through the menopause. This thing arrived in the post. It said it would help me with my mood swings and my hot flushes. And what you do is, I know this sounds weird, sir, right? But what you do is, you put a magnet on the front of your knickers. You put a metal disc on the inside of your knickers. It keeps the magnet securely and discreetly in place. And that bit works so beautifully. But what they don't tell you on the menopause magnet packaging is when it is tucked neatly and very discreetly in your pants, distinct possibility you will find yourself metallically attached to the self-checkout in Waitrose. The unexpected item in the bagging area. I just rang it through as a butternut squash and I pissed off. I felt so stupid. The week before, I'd spent a whole 10 minutes attached to my tumble dryer. I mean, it was a very nice 10 minutes if I'm... It took me so long to decorate the tree this year. All the baubles kept getting stuck in my pubic triangle. I've still got at least one novelty Santa down there. But no, they're really powerful magnets. Honestly, so if you've got any metal fillings, I'd shimmy back a bit and shut your mouth. A pandemic was no place for a menopausal woman, right? Do you remember when they were taking your temperatures everywhere before you could get in? We were only ever one hot flush away from getting fully cancelled. It was... I remember the last time it happened so clearly. I was out with a friend, we were trying to just get a pizza, and they were taking temperatures on the door, and the guy took mine, and he looked at me, he said, there's a problem. And I said, what do you mean there's a problem? He said, I'm really sorry, there is a problem. And I said, am I a little bit overheated? That's funny, because I'm a 50-year-old woman. I've just spent an hour and a quarter on the Northern Line wearing a mask, and I raised 2 children single-handedly. I gave birth to them with no pain relief while their dad complained his back was hurting, and I hadn't had a good night's sleep in about 2 years because of my anxiety, my irrational crying, and my vaginal dryness. I don't know what my body's doing. It should send the tears down there. That's where I really need them. And I am attached to your fire extinguisher by my pants. Turned out the problem was with the card machine. You had to pay on the app, so...
If I'm totally honest with you, though, I think Christmas comes around a little bit too quick, you know? Another Christmas, another load of presents that I've got to sit down on the floor and try and play with my daughter. I'm still working on the jigsaw from last year. It's a 48-piecer, you know. I've done 5 edges, but, you know, it's a long-term project. I do find it difficult sometimes, you know, being a dad in the dark. It has its complications. When she was little, like little, she loved going to the farm. I hated the farm. Do you know what the farm is to me? Just a series of fences over which are different smells of shit. She was like, what animals that one, Daddy? I was like, I have no idea, sweetheart, but it smells worse than the last one. Not as bad as the first 2. Then she turned like 4. She loved going down the park and kicking a ball around. I couldn't commit myself without destroying people's picnics. She was big into hide and seek for a while. The problem with that was every game came with a very real possibility that she might die of dehydration while she's waiting for me to find her. I mean, we did play it. We live in a 2-bedroom flat. We've got this big, vast communal garden out the back. You know, I remember us playing it out there. She was 4, playing it outside, just putting a little show on for the neighbours. She ran off to hide because she hadn't yet realised that she didn't actually need to hide. She just needed to be quiet, really, didn't she? I mean, she could have just stayed there. But she ran off to hide. And it wasn't a quiet hide, it was a giggly hide. The game was I had to follow the giggling till I found the giggling behind a tree, and then I had to chase the giggling back to where we started from. And then she'd say, OK, Daddy, your turn to hide now, Daddy. I said, well, I can't, can I, sweetheart? Because I can't see where I'm going to go and hide, because I can't see where to hide, so I can't hide, can I? She said, that's OK, Daddy. I'll show you where to hide. You can hide where I hid. And she took me hand at the age of 4 years old, and she guided me across this big, vast communal garden over to the tree where she'd been hiding. And just as we were approaching the tree, she walked me straight into this bird table. Stuck in the ground, came up to about here. I've lived in that flat for 10 years. I've no bloody clue how long that bird table's been there for. It knocked the wind out of me. I took a few steps backwards. Without batting an eyelid, she just took me hand. She placed it around the far side of the tree where she'd been hiding, and she just looked up at me. And she just said, I hid here, Daddy. But I didn't walk into that, did I? Well, that was my fault. Like, she wasn't the one entirely in charge of the safety of both of us at just the age of 4. But then she turned 5, and all of a sudden it was all about the art and the drawing and the colouring in. Daddy, come and draw with me, Daddy. I mean, on a brighter note, it's a lot safer than hide and seek. Just constant, no, Daddy, come and draw with me, Daddy. I think the bottom line is what she's realised is that my shit makes her shit look better.
My daughter and I were really close. I took her out for some festive cocktails last week, and we went to one of those lovely fancy sky bars down on the south bank of the Thames. And as we were queuing to get in, they were doing very, very thorough bag checks on the door. My daughter's face just fell, and she said, Mum, they won't suspect you. Can you put my weed in your pocket? Oh, that's it's gone wrong here, hasn't it? Can you put my weed in your pocket, please? And where was I going to put my cocaine? But we got in, we had the most wonderful night, and we kept getting free cocktails. There was a very, very good-looking young waiter, wouldn't let us pay for a single thing. At the end of the night, that waiter came over, he bent down, he said to my daughter, he said, if you weren't here, I'd take your mum home with me. I couldn't believe how long it took to get an Uber for my daughter. It was... So I found this thing online that can best be described as a menopause magnet, right? I don't mean George Clooney. This is literally a magnetic device to help a woman through the menopause. This thing arrived in the post. It said it would help me with my mood swings and my hot flushes. And what you do is, I know this sounds weird, sir, right? But what you do is, you put a magnet on the front of your knickers. You put a metal disc on the inside of your knickers. It keeps the magnet securely and discreetly in place. And that bit works so beautifully. But what they don't tell you on the menopause magnet packaging is when it is tucked neatly and very discreetly in your pants, distinct possibility you will find yourself metallically attached to the self-checkout in Waitrose. The unexpected item in the bagging area. I just rang it through as a butternut squash and I pissed off. I felt so stupid. The week before, I'd spent a whole 10 minutes attached to my tumble dryer. I mean, it was a very nice 10 minutes if I'm... it took me so long to decorate the tree this year. All the baubles kept getting stuck in my pubic triangle. I've still got at least one novelty Santa down there. But no, they're really powerful magnets. Honestly, so if you've got any metal fillings, I'd shimmy back a bit and shut your mouth. A pandemic was no place for a menopausal woman, right? Do you remember when they were taking your temperatures everywhere before you could get in? We were only ever one hot flush away from getting fully cancelled. It was... I remember the last time it happened so clearly. I was out with a friend, we were trying to just get a pizza, and they were taking temperatures on the door, and the guy took mine, and he looked at me, he said, "There's a problem." And I said, "What do you mean there's a problem?" He said, "I'm really sorry, there is a problem." And I said, "Am I a little bit overheated?" That's funny, because I'm a 50-year-old woman. I've just spent an hour and a quarter on the Northern Line wearing a mask, and I raised 2 children single-handedly. I gave birth to them with no pain relief while their dad complained his back was hurting, and I hadn't had a good night's sleep in about 2 years because of my anxiety, my irrational crying, and my vaginal dryness. I don't know what my body's doing. It should send the tears down there. That's where I really need them, and I am attached to your fire extinguisher by my pants. Turned out the problem was with the card machine. You had to pay on the app, so...
I grew up loving trains, right? But there's one thing about the trains, other than the fact that I want them to run on time, that I really need them to change, right? And it's this announcement that goes, "See it, say it, sorted." Have you heard this? Now, if you those that haven't, "See it, say it, sorted" is an announcement on trains, which basically means if you see something suspicious, call the British Transport Police. But we all know what they really mean by suspicious. If you see a brown bloke with a rucksack, give us a fucking call. Now, I've never liked "See it, say it, sorted" because for a start, it just raises fear and suspicion constantly. Second, it doesn't get to the heart of the issue, what they really want us to do, which is racial profiling. And third and most importantly, "See it, say it, sorted" doesn't bloody rhyme. Now, this upset me. I said, right, I've got to come up with some alternative options to reflect the reality of the situation and make it a bit more linguistically appealing, right? So I've come up with 2 options to replace "See it, say it, sorted." By way of cheer, you can tell me which one you prefer, okay? So option number 1 to replace "See it, say it, sorted." Seen a muso? If so, let us know. Average? Okay. Option number 2. Don't be wacky, reporter. Hey! You little racist pieces of... Gotcha! I'm in my late 30s at the moment, and a lot of my friends are already kind of parents of toddlers. Do we have any parents of toddlers in at the moment? Give me a cheer. Yeah, you are the worst human beings on the planet. I hate each and every single one of you, right? Because parents of toddlers nowadays, my God, they feel the need to show that they love their child when they're in public. Like, get on a train, you'll 100% see this. They'll be like, Oscar, we're on a train. Did you bring your bag with you today, darling? I know there are lots of people on the train, aren't there? What's that? You want to press the button even though they're waiting? Don't worry about them. I'll read you a story first, yeah, Oscar? I love you, Oscar. I love you, Oscar. I really love you, Oscar. Fuck off. I understand and assume that you love your child. I don't need to see this performance parenting. Now, I don't have any children. I've got a little nephew. When I get my nephew along, I think to myself, I don't want to miss out on the opportunity to be a complete dick in public. So I get my nephew, I sit him down, I say, "Hello, Ali. We are on a train. Did you bring your rucksack with you today?" I know, there are lots of people on the train. What's that? You want to press a button, do you? All the parents shut the hell up. And there's a woman in the corner going, see it, say it, sort it.
So I've moved house recently and now I have a wife. Thank you. I have a wife now. I love saying that. I love my wife. I like that. Didn't used to like that whenever I'd meet a married couple, especially if there was a man in the situation. Didn't like it when he said, my wife. Always sounded so aggressive, so territorial. Ownership. This is my wife. She is my property. I own this woman. Oh, I thought, ooh, I'm not going to like saying that. But now, I own a woman. And I love to show off my property. I'm proud of my wife. She's one of my favourite things, apart from my outdoor pizza oven. No, I do like to say my wife. I should clarify this, but not for that reason. I like to say it because it took us so long to get married, right? Our original wedding date was on April 25th, 2020. Yes. And then somebody fucked a bat. And she caught me doing that and cancelled the wedding. It's a proper joke. 3 weddings cancelled. 3 weddings cancelled. Awful, very stressful. The first one, the worst, obviously. By far the worst. We got a call from our venue about 2 weeks before the wedding was supposed to happen, and they said, it's just not going to happen. We're cancelling all of our events. We're so sorry, right? It's about 2 weeks before the first national lockdown, they called us and said that. And that is devastating, to be told that you are not allowed to marry the person that you love most in the world, that you want to spend every single minute of every single day with. And then 2 weeks later, the government told us we had to spend every single minute of every single day together. And as we all found out, that is too long to spend with anyone. No matter how much you love them, you need a minute off now and again. It's done mad things to our relationship. We're basically the same person now. We share everything, especially since we've got married. Don't know if you know this, if you're about to get married, I'm going to let you in on something. You have to share everything, including, and I didn't know this was one of the rules, a Google Calendar. No one told me. I got a bit of a shock. 2 weeks after we got married, I was in a meeting with people at work that I didn't really know that well. Work people. Practical strangers. At the end of the meeting, we had to go round the table and read out what we had coming up in the week following so we could put a new meeting in. I announced to this room full of practical strangers that the following Wednesday, I had my smear test. We're on a new level of intimacy I did not know existed. And I like it, but you do leave things behind at the previous level of intimacy. Don't you? You do leave some things behind. Like, we know each other so well now. We've lost that sort of exciting, unknown, sparky, sexy thing. That's dead. I'll tell you the moment that went, I know the split second. It was lockdown 1. It was in our bathroom. Our bath's directly next to our toilet. I needed a piss, so I just went for a piss. She turned around, looked me directly in the stream and said, you need to drink more water.
It's nice seeing people out, man. We've had a weird few years, innit? There's been a lot going on, the pandemic, you know, monkeypox, World War III, right? No, World War III scared me, you know. I was terrified when that Russian bloke came on TV, right? When he came on TV and he was like, World War III has begun, right? I lost it, right? I was so scared, right? Because I looked around at the men of my generation, right? And I was like, could we fight a war? Could the men of this generation fight a war, right? And I came to the conclusion, no, we are done for. We're finished, bruv, right? Not me, I'm a bad man, but some of you, like, do you know what I mean, right? No, we can't fight a war, brother. You mad? They will take half of us out with gluten. Like, do you know what I mean? They don't even need to drop bombs. They'll just drop blue top milk over the front lines, right? Just see all of us just shitting everywhere, like, crying like, where's that gender neutral toilet? Shut up, it's a war, bro! It's good to see you lot out, man. That whole thing was scary, man. Do you know the scariest part of that thing? The mayor of London came on TV, right? And he was like, London is well placed in case of a nuclear attack. was like, are you out of your goddamn mind? There's leaves on the track and we're done for. Forget a nuclear winter, we can't survive autumn, bruv, right? It's nice seeing you guys out, man. We've had a weird few years, man. Monkeypox is on the horizon, right? There's going to be no anti-vaxxers when it comes to that one, is there? Right? As soon as you see a massive pimple that big on your face, you're like, yeah, inject it, bruv. Do what you want, right? The thing with COVID, we had everything in it, right? Like, people were talking about the vaccine. Like, there was people on both sides that I didn't understand. Like, I don't care if you're vaccinated, just have a good reason, because I didn't get both sides of it. You know, you had pro-vaxxers and you had anti-vaxxers. Are there any anti-vaxxers in? They're like on Facebook, innit? Like... you look, those anti-vaxxers are loud on Facebook, innit? Like, Bill Gates, he's taking your soul. You little sheeple. All right, shut up, man. Right? I don't get the pro-vaxxers either. You know, like the way they're like, there's absolutely no reason not to get vaccinated. There's absolutely no reason. It's like, of course there is. There's reasons for some of the most horrendous things in the world, like listening to R. Kelly's music. Do you know what I mean? Like, there are reasons. What, you're going to tell me there's no reason to listen to R. Kelly's music? Are you mad? Right? What, you want me to never watch Space Jam again? Are you out of your mind, bruv, right? Listen, there's reasons to listen to R. Kelly's music. As much as you want to deny it, there's reasons, right? Say you're in a Squid Games type scenario, right? And the challenge is to play a song that a diverse audience is going to sing along to, yeah? I don't know about you lot, yeah, but I'm picking Ignition, innit, right? Don't go home and say, I told you to listen to R. Kelly, by the way. He's a piece of shit. Don't listen to him, right? No, it's... I don't care whether you're vaccinated or not, if I'm being honest, right? As long as you have a good reason, right? As long as you've got a good reason, I don't mind what you want to do with your life, man. It's your life. Do what you want, right? And I'll tell you what I mean, because I've got a lot of friends, man, like, that are, like, anti-vaxxers and stuff as well. Like, I was talking to a couple of my mates about it, right, when it was all going on, and I was like, bro, you're going to get vaccinated? He was like, no. I was like, why not? He's like, no. Come on, bro, man, that's not a reason, man. Just talk to me, man. Let me know. He's like, no, you're going to turn it into a joke. And to be honest with you... wonderful foresight on his behalf, right? Like...
I'm the sort of person who'll spend their wages like their winnings. You know what I mean? Get all excited. I just get so excited. First half of the month, I'm getting my nails done, champagne brunches, buying a second-hand jet ski I found online. But I forget about the second half of the month. We all do, don't we? And it's bleak, innit? Isn't it bleak? Just indoors, watching telly. Eating beans on a jet ski. It's... embarrass myself, I do. I love it. I love shopping. I love it. People save money a lot. Not me. I love shopping. It's the pop-up ads. They know me. I don't even resent it. Oversized smock midi dress with pockets. Yes, please. I'll have another one of them. Thank you, algorithms. Love it. Thank you. Because they're all watching us, innit? They're all watching what we're doing, listening to what we're doing. People don't like it. I don't mind it. I use it to my advantage. I'm like, I need a shed at the minute. I'm like 6x4, pre-treated timber. Works every time. But people get paranoid. Don't we like to get paranoid? Like my mum, paranoid. My mum is paranoid. She won't have a smartphone, not a computer in her house, nothing. She's like, they're watching you, Lord. I said, it don't matter, does it, Mum? I said, it don't matter if you ain't got anything to hide. Do you know what my 73-year-old mother said to that? I have. I thought, slow down, top girl, say nothing. Doesn't matter. She's right, of course she's right. You had to do what you had to do to get through lockdown, that's what I say. Do you know what I mean? People were stockpiling. I've got 3 kids. There was no such thing as stockpiling with 3 kids, let me tell you that. Every other day I was going out for more Jack Daniels. I don't know. It's got to be done though, innit? And do you know what it is? Now we've all got all our freedoms, I'm worried about myself because I feel like nothing's actually as fun as you think it's going to be. Maybe it's me. There's a lot of stuff I don't get, like Brighton and tapas. Maybe it is me. But I feel like other people are pretending to have fun. Do you know what I mean? Spa days. Do you like spa day? I don't think you do. Brunches? Girls, how have we signed up to 50 quid brunches? How has that become a thing, a standard? When did that happen? Not even birthdays. It's mad. I'd rather get drunk with my own scrambled eggs. Do you know what I mean? Holidays? You bothered about a holiday? No, I'm not. Again, I think you like the idea of a holiday. Do you know what I mean? I like looking for them, booking them, actually doing them. Hard work, I think. It's true though, isn't it? Do you know what? I think I would genuinely rather be hospitalised. Can you imagine? Food, drink, drugs brought straight to your bed. That costs hundreds in Ibiza, hundreds. I'd start clapping for the NHS again. I would. I love it.
This is true, this. Does anyone know? I fail my test. Can anyone tell me what happens, right? If you're on your driving test and an animal ran out in front of the car, what are you supposed to do? Supposed to run it over. That's the right answer. They say anything else is a danger to other road users. I'm on my test. Everything's going great. Suddenly, this goat ran out in front of the car. So I remembered what he said, and I kept driving. A few seconds later, I look in my rearview mirror. The goat is fine. I've missed him by millimetres. Now, obviously, I didn't want to fail my test. So I slapped it in reverse like that. Yeah, I must have been chasing that little fucker through that field for 45 minutes before I ran over his head, and he still failed me. Where's the justice in that? You actually look a bit like my driving instructor, madam. With those fantastic specs and that hair. You've gone for the old Eric Morecambe meets Demi Moore look, haven't you? That's fantastic. Actually, lend me those glasses for a second. Just, you do. What's your name, madam? Lyndall. Where are you from? Mordor? Lyndall. My name is Lyndall. Are you searching for a ring? That's Australian. Oh, fantastic. I'm not going to take the mickey out of the Australians. You're the same as us, aren't you? Different pronunciations, you know. You say yogurt, we say yoghurt. You have prawns on the barbie, we have yoghurt. You use KY jelly. It's yoghurt, I'm not explaining them all. You say BYO, we say good guess. The question was, how do you spell boy? Arsenal! What do you do for a living? Are you a welder? It's true, actually, my driving instructor wore glasses. This is the other issue for me as well. We're driving down the road. She said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to slap my hand on the dashboard. I want you to make an emergency stop as though a small child has stepped out in front of the car. Before he could put his belt on, or she, doesn't matter because I'm making it up, right? Before the person could put their belt on, right, I hit my brakes like that, and he hit his head full on the window like this. Just show it off now. Oh, bad job! Hey! Hey! Then he turned around to me and said, why don't you wait till I slap me hand on the dashboard? I said, there's a child's life at stake here. I haven't got time to mess about with games, mate. Oh, sorry, you didn't see any of that, did you? No, sorry. You were just sat there, weren't you, going, what's he doing? What's that noise? Has he got a kind face?
We're very fortunate. We had a wonderful time in our life. I became a dad 18 months ago. Thank you very much. He's actually 9 years old, but I've only just started getting involved. The hard work's done. I'll step in now, I think. No, he's a baby. He's a wonderful boy. It's stressful, very stressful. Not for me, for my little boy. Very stressful being a baby. His socks just fall off all day. Just start the day, you look down, his socks are off again. Imagine if you were going through that as adults. Your mental health would be in the gutter if you were going through that. I'm amazed it isn't more babies' first words when they learn to speak, not mum and dada. What the fuck's going on with these socks? Seriously. Mad being a baby. My little boy, he's 18 months old. He's got 3 xylophones. Why would anybody need 3 xylophones? There's professional xylophone players with less xylophones than this kid. I said to my wife, I said, why has he got 3 xylophones? She goes, oh, he likes to play one in the bath. That's some kind of eccentric billionaire. What is going on here? I'm enjoying being a dad. It's changed my whole perspective, to be honest, being a dad. Like, growing up, I used to think that I had an angry dad. Growing up, I always thought I had an angry dad. And now I'm a dad, and I'm like, oh, no. We just pushed a very reasonable man to breaking point. Just a lovely guy. I think being a parent is a lot like eating a pomegranate. Like, there's really nice little bits, but ultimately, I'm not sure it's worth it. It's really hard. People give you mad advice as well when you have a kid. My little boy, actually, he's about a week old. I was holding him. And my mum, actually, she said, Josh, just think, that little boy you're holding there could go on to be anything he wants to be. He could be a top doctor, a politician, an astronaut. I was like, wow, that's incredible. But also, I wouldn't have thought so. An astronaut, from me to an astronaut in 1 generation. That's a hell of a leap. I went to the pub the other day. It was a push door. I was pulling it. I thought the pub was closed. I just went home. I could see people inside. Well, how have they got in there? What's going on? NASA are not knocking down my door. I don't think he'll be a politician either, because he's going to go to the same shit school in the Midlands that I went to. And politicians, they all go to the posh schools, don't they? And people don't like that. They say, politicians, they all go to the posh schools. I think that's okay. I think that's fine. I don't think you'd want anybody from my school being in charge of the country. Maybe this is very progressive, but I think if you learn maths in a porter cabin, don't get involved in government. I don't know. If you learn about history by watching Blackadder on a wheeled-in TV, stay out of it.
I wanted to tell you this because, as I'm saying, I am dating a lot of older guys, but I also realize, as much as I say that I am 40, I know I don't look 40, right? So I get a lot of guys who are talking to me who are like 27, 28, and I can't get over the fact that, like, when I was 18, you were 6. Like, I can't do that. It's so weird, right? But he's talking, he's like stepping up to me, and I'm like, I don't even get how this works. Like, if we hook up, do I have to drop you off at school tomorrow? Like, how does this work, right? So I'll get talked to by guys who are like younger, and I think that a lot of you don't realize how much some of us women mean business, okay? So here's what I need you to do. Like, men in your 20s, if you are ever in a position of talking to a woman who appears to be at least 30 years old, okay, and you are not available, all right, you got a wife, a partner, a girlfriend, a fiance, whatever it is you have, you are not available, you need to let us know, all right? In the first 5 minutes, you gotta bring that bitch up, all right? Just be like, my wife has a face as well. Like, whatever it is, just find a reason to bring her up, because yes, you will see the light of hope die in our eyes, but at least we'll know these are not the droids you're looking for, and we can move on, okay? Because we are not looking for friends, we're looking for partners. We are like sharks, we are on the move, all right?
was at a cast party for a show I was not in about a month ago, right? Because like basically my friend had done this show and she invited me to the party and I was like, great, because I don't know any of these guys, but they're all coming down off of the high of finishing what they've done and they're all gonna be depressed and I'm gonna catch some sad dicks in my basket, yeah. I'm gonna get all these sad crying dicks, yes, right? It's a perfect place to pick up new people, right? So I go to this cast party and I'm talking to the sound guy, right, for the show. And I love sound guys. I depend on sound guys, but I love tech guys because they just get business done and don't make a fuss about it. They're like, yeah, you're welcome, bye. Like, I love that, right? So I was talking to the sound guy, right? And he was like cute and geeky. And I talked to this guy for 45 minutes about the video game The Legend of Zelda. Yeah, I held my own in that nerd-ass conversation for 45 minutes. I stumbled all the way down memory lane with this guy. And I was pretty proud of myself. 45 minutes of this talk. And I'm like, you know what? I think we're vibing. Like, I'm gonna get his number. He's so cute. He's so funny. 45 minutes into this conversation, this guy goes, yeah, my wife always loved that game. And I was like, God damn it! Your wife? Your wife? I have ovulated in the middle of this conversation. Well, your wife owes me an egg. Go run and tell that bitch that. She owes me an egg. Right? She'll be mad at your ass too when she comes. She's like, why did you tell her that? Now I gotta give this bitch an egg. Come on.
I'd just like to tell you a true story, right? This is what it's like living in London nowadays. In fact, it's the same everywhere, really. What I hate is the hard sell. You know, you get the hard sell, right? I got it the other day. You know when people ring you up and say, you know, do you want to combine the gas with the electric, right? I know, I was thinking, oh, that sounds dangerous, right? I hate the hard sell. It's horrible, isn't it? This is a true story. The other day, I was lying in bed with a hangover. Yeah, it's awful, isn't it, when your cock's so big it won't stay in the bed. I'm glad I did say stinking hangover. And I get this phone call, right? And I knew this bloke was trying to sell me something with his opening line, right? Because he said, hello, sir. How are you today? I said, no, thank you. And he genuinely got the hump and said, no, thank you, what? I said, sorry, no, thank you, please. He said, I'm phoning from EDF. I said, I'm not interested. He said, I haven't told you what it is yet. I said, I know exactly why you're ringing. You're ringing to offer me a free season ticket to Wembley plus unlimited access to Dirty Brenda's all-night knocking shop with as many chocolate hobnobs as I can eat. And he said, no, I'm not. I'm ringing to talk about your domestic fuel bills. I said, well, why didn't you say that in the first place? Keep talking, son. He said, well, sir, because he didn't get the sarcasm. He said, how would you feel about paying less for your gas? I said, honestly. He said, yes. I said, I reckon I'd feel exactly the same, but I'd be paying less for me gas. He said, can I ask you, who's your current supplier? I said, oh, it's Big Pete. He comes round every Thursday on a moped. I said, oh, sorry, gas. I thought you meant electricity. I said, it's British Gas. He said, can I ask what you chose them, sir? I said, well, it's a funny story. I needed some gas, and I live in Britain, and I don't know what it was, but they seem to be ticking all the right boxes. And at this point, he genuinely got the hump and said, do you know what? I think I'll ring someone else who'll answer my questions less sarcastically. I said, yeah, you can phone someone else. They'll be less sarcastic. They'll probably stay on the phone longer, but they'll still end up saying no to you anyway. I said, now, I don't know who's providing your current rejection, but if you were to switch to me, I would combine the rejection with the sarcasm and save you up to 15% a year on your cold calling time. And do you know what he did then? Do you know what he did? He tried to offer me nectar points. Let me tell you something about nectar points, ladies and gentlemen. I spent the last 2 years collecting nectar points. Do you know how many I've got? Enough for a tiny little jar of honey. I'd be better off collecting bloody nectar. And I'm glad you laughed at that joke, because when I did it a month ago in Ireland, it got nothing. Honestly, God, I did a gig 2 nights in Ireland. First night, I did that joke about the nectar of the nectar points, got nothing. I walked off stage, and the bloke that travels around me went, I said, why did that joke not get a laugh? The nectar of the nectar points. He went, oh, I know why. They don't have nectar points in Ireland. What are you telling me now for after the gig?
He said, don't worry, tomorrow night, say Tesco's points. Do you know what? I don't know what's worse. The fact that he suggested that, or the fact that half of you are now looking at me going, well, Lee, what happened? Did it work? What's that? Don't leave us hanging, Lee. Did it work? What about niggle points? Extra points?
My parents are disappointed I didn't get married because, like I said, I'm Egyptian. I'm in my 40s, so I was supposed to be married 30 years ago. So they're like, tick-tock. When's this happening? But they don't understand dating. My parents didn't date. They were in arranged marriage. They met on The Bachelor season 3, I think. They don't get that joke or anything I do, but... I was supposed to be a doctor or a lawyer or an engineer, which is pretty typical for Arabs, actually. Like, I went to Palestine once to do comedy there because that's what that region needs, just dick jokes. So thought I'd help. And after the show, there was a Q&A, and somebody in the audience was like, why did you decide to become a comedian? And as a joke, I was like, oh, I wasn't smart enough to be a doctor. But they didn't get it. They were like, oh, I'm sorry. Maybe if you study harder, you can do it. I was like, yeah, definitely. This is a lifelong dream. That's all right. My dad thinks I'm his responsibility until I'm my husband's responsibility. But at no point am I to be my own responsibility, right? Like, the women in my culture need a chaperone through life. Like, we just don't have the same rights as the men. Because my dad wanted to move from Cairo to America, so he just moved. You're a man, bye. Right? My mom wanted to move from Cairo to America, and they were like, well, let's find you a husband in America. And that's how they met. 3 of my aunts became nuns. That's a lot of nuns for one family. And I was like, Mom, why did all your sisters become nuns? She was like, because they didn't want to get married. And then she caught herself. She's like, because they love God. I was like, no, I knew it. They saw their options. Meet Samir. He doesn't know how to do his own laundry, and he has hummus in his beard right now. You can have sex with him every night, or meet God. The only thing you have to do on your knees is pray. And they were like, yep, God, that's perfect. Thank you. I love being in London because it's so close to the rest of Europe. I love to travel. I go to Paris. Tell my American friends I'm going to Paris. They get so excited for me. They're like, oh my God, Paris, we love that for you. We love Amelie. And I tell people here I'm going to Paris. You don't give a shit at all. All you ever say when I say I'm going there is, oh, cool, how are you getting there? Are you taking the train? Oh, the train's so great. You're going to love the train. Like, cool. Every time. How are you getting there? You taking the train? Oh, the train is so great. Like, so is Paris. Why can't I talk about Paris? What? I'm going to go to cafes and museums. I'm going to see Jim Morrison's grave. And you're like, that's cool. How are you getting home, though? Are you taking the train? Train's so great. Like, it's a good train. Relax. It's good to vomit on. And last time I was there, this Parisian man walks right up to me. He was like, you have fire. This is why I love the French. What a thing to say to a stranger. You have fire? Yeah, you're damn right I have fire, sir. Right? I'm a strong, independent woman. I'm a comedian. He didn't know any of this, but he must have just seen something in me, like my aura, and he had to come up and be like, you have fire. Turns out he was just looking for a lighter.
I have a theory that masturbation is a kind of summoning spell for your own rational mind. Because we're all so driven by hormones and by desire. Sometimes you've got to have a wank to speak to your real self. You have a wank, you go, oh, I should have shagged my ex one last time. I'll text her, I'll meet her, I'll shag her. And then you come and a little voice comes on in your head that goes, yeah, don't do that, mate. You've got to be careful with jokes, haven't you? Because not everybody's got a sense of humour. I can remember when I first realised not everybody's got a sense of humour. I was 13, I was at school, and we were doing a class on stereotypes. The teacher was a really good guy. He's just talking about how stupid stereotypes are. And he was talking about a stereotype that day that's so old-fashioned and so Scottish that you definitely won't have heard it. Have you ever heard the stereotype that deaf people are really strong? That was a genuine thing when I was growing up. Deaf people, particularly deaf and dumb people, were believed to be really strong. And the teacher said, think how stupid that is. Have you ever seen a deaf contender for the heavyweight championship of the world? And me, aged 13, I put my hand up and I went, there was one, sir, but he was disqualified for punching after the bell. And nobody laughed. And I knew right then that life was going to feel pretty long. You've got to have a bit of leeway with jokes, haven't you? I can't write jokes for the average person, can I? The average person is Chinese. So I'm from Glasgow, a city where people think that hepatitis B is a fucking vitamin. To explain Glasgow's attitude to you, this happened to me recently. I was having a wee snooze in a park, because my career's been going really well lately. I was having a wee doze under a tree, and a guy came up to me and he went, do you know your problem? You're fucking unapproachable. Glasgow's like an entirely negative city. I went to a coffee shop one time. Two middle-aged women sat across from me, and they started to moan as they sat down about how long they thought the coffee was going to take. So nothing had happened, and they were both angry. And the coffee turned up, and the first one takes a sip and goes, that's not very good, is it? And the second one takes a sip of hers and goes, I don't even like coffee. I think English people don't really understand Scottish attitudes. You think that we all just want to see the English football team get beaten. But actually, a lot of us would much rather see the team plane crash into an oil refinery. I enjoyed reading about Sam Allardyce. I didn't realise English football had a corruption problem. I thought the only problems in English football were racism, sexism, homophobia, match-fixing, gambling, sexual assaults and the failure to perform at major tournaments.
I was going to be a doctor. Got as far as A-level biology, and we had to cut open a rat. Remember that? You had to cut open a rat, and I discovered I couldn't stand the sight of blood or anything vaguely biological. Just had to switch it up. I was like, Mum, I had to tell my mum the doctor thing wasn't going to work out, but it was all right. I said, I'm going to be an engineer. And my mum was like, engineer? It is on the list? Okay. And then she turns to my younger brother, you will be the doctor. And that's how it ran in my family. She wasn't impressed when I decided to become a comedian. That conversation didn't go very well because I was an engineer. I worked as an engineer for years. I used to work for Otis, repairing lifts. That's what I did. And my mum was proud. Yes, my daughter, she's an engineer. And then I left that and decided to become a comedian. My mum was not impressed. She's like, comedy, comedy. What the hell is comedy? I'm going to tell my friends in Nigeria, my daughter is a clown. But luckily for me, within 6 months of starting comedy, I got on this talent show called The Big, Big Talent Show, hosted by Jonathan Ross. Got on this show. So I called my mum. I was like, Mama, I got through to this big talent show. It's going to be on TV. I'm through the quarterfinals. And my mum's like, oh, yeah, that's good. Very good. Interesting. Very good. Call me when you get to the final. I'm not interested in this quarter-final, semi-final rubbish. Call me for the final. So sure enough, I got through to the final, filmed live on television, live. Jonathan Ross is hosting, and my mum comes down with her entourage, because my mum does not travel without a Nigerian entourage. So I do my set, Jonathan Ross is interviewing me after my set, and he sees my mum in the audience, which was not hard to spot. It was literally white people, white people, white people, and then a bank of African royalty just... So Jonathan points to my mum and he goes, "Is that your mum? That Gina's mum is in the audience." And I swear to God, my mum stood up like this. Yes, that is right. I am the reason the clown is here. I am the reason. I always knew she was going to be a clown. When she was 3, I bought her the big shoes. So my mum only comes out for the big shows. She only comes out for the big shows. And in fact, my mum is here tonight. Where's my mum? Where's my mum? Where's my mum over there? She's here. Where's my mum? Oh, look at her, standing up. Look at her, there she is. All right, you can sit down now, mum. You can sit down now, mum. This is my show, mum. It's my show. It's my show.
Myself, West London, yes, I grew up in Ealing, down the road. Yeah, there's probably more than that, but they think it's vulgar to shout out. It is wonderful. It's wonderful, Ealing, isn't it? It is wonderful. It is. Queen of the Suburbs, it's called. Also, coincidentally, my nickname at school. But it is quite posh, Ealing, isn't it? Would you say it's quite posh? It is quite posh. I am quite posh. I now live in Enfield. Yeah, see? Quite rough. No, it's awkward. It is awkward. I'm quite posh. My kids are quite rough. It's quite awkward. I was trying to show my daughter the correct knife to use in a restaurant the other day, and she just said, "A blade's a blade." That's wrong, isn't it? I was a weird kid myself. I was scared of everything as a kid. I was scared of Santa. My parents would tell me about Santa. I'd be going, "Right, sorry, let me get this straight, parents. You're going to let an old stranger into my room in the middle of the night because he wants to give me a present. Are you serious?" I was scared of the tooth fairy. You know, your tooth falls out, leave it under the pillow, tooth fairy comes along, takes it away, leaves you some cash. I would be freaking. I'd be going, "I don't want to sell my body parts." Who's coming next? The kidney pixie? The knob goblin. I'm mid-40s now. I'm mid-40s. I have no pension plan in place. I have no pension sorted at all. Having said that, I'm in show business. I may well spend my 70s in jail. Joking, obviously. Loads of us are getting away with it now.